Welcome to the Delingpod with me, James Delingpod, and I know I always say I'm excited about this week's special guest. But before we meet him, let's have a word from one of our sponsors. Gold and silver, they've been going like rockets recently, especially gold. I think silver will follow. But I'm no expert. What do I know? I just know that I've got some gold and I've got some silver, and I'm very happy to have some. There are two ways of owning it. Either you can buy physical gold in the form of gold and silver bullion or in the form of coins, or you can take the monetary metals option. Monetary Metals is a company, and I've had the CEO, Keith Weiner, on the podcast twice to explain how it all works. It's a way of owning physical gold and silver, but you get paid interest on your holding. Now, this is different. When you hold gold in a vault, you have to pay a fee, a management fee. But if you buy gold and silver through Monetary Metals, you get paid interest. So you don't have to pay storage charges. You're actually earning income on your gold, which is paid in the form of more gold and silver. It sounds like it doesn't make any sense, but actually it works because the jewelry industry pays money to Monetary Metals for which enables it to pay you interest on your gold. It does work. So if you want to buy gold and silver through Monetary Metals, you go to Monetary Metals, monetary-metals.com/Delingpod, and you can find out more about it. monetary-metals.com/Delingpod. You can earn up to 4% in their leasing program immediately after funding your account. You can even earn higher yields if you are an accredited investor via their bond offerings. They let you earn income on their ounces, paid in more ounces of physical gold. The interest you earn is paid in ounces of physical gold or silver, which you get in addition to any price appreciation from gold and silver during the year. Join thousands of investors earning interest in physical gold and silver every month with Monetary Metals. Visit monetary-metals.com/Delingpod to earn more. Welcome back to the Delingpod, Ole Dammegård. It's been too long. Obviously, within about a day of the shooting of the alleged assassination of you-know-who, I thought, this is one for Ole to deal with. And I wish that I could. You were probably really in demand. But at the same time, one I've noticed with you, that if I speak to you too close to one of these false flag events, you don't have enough information. And you haven't analysed it enough. And it gives the impression that you don't know what you're talking about, that you're just kind of flailing around, coming up with these crazy conspiracy theories. And whereas sometimes when the event has had time to settle and you've had time to look into it more, we sort of get a better Ole take.
I completely disagree with you. What I do normally is I don't talk about these things. I don't give interviews right away. I wait. I look. It's so easy to jump to conclusions. And I mean, people know right away the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and so on. But that's not the case. So especially when it's a high level case like this, I mean, this one is like this size when it comes to these type of operations. So for me, it's very important to gather all information possible, meaning things that back what I suspect, things that does not, the official narrative, all of it. I download everything, because nowadays also it disappears so fast. I tell you, if you go back just a few weeks, a lot of the things that you saw is gone now, except for the official narrative. So
Really?
What I do is like download everything, and just go on. And then I start going through it one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other, which is dead boring many times, but necessary. And then after a while, I start really seeing the bigger picture. I start seeing connections to other cases. If this is a so-called false flag operation or staged event or whatever. So that is why I really try not to jump to conclusion and just wait for it, because it's like coming to a crime scene. It's so easy to get tunnel vision and lock in on what you want to see and not see the rest of it. It's like you have to do a 360, and also what you don't find is as important as what you find. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like if you do, let's say I'm at a crime scene and I know that the one that did it has somehow come into this point through this circle area. How did he get there? I come from this point. No, that was not it. Then I know for sure that's part of the solution, that he did not enter this way, not this way, not this way, not this way. It's getting me closer to the real truth. And then suddenly, boom, there it is. So to not find things are also important.
And we're talking, obviously, before we go on, if anyone hasn't guessed yet, we're talking about Charlie Kirk.
We're talking about many, many cases. It's the exact same approach.
Yeah.
I have the exact same approach. It's just that this one came on a level here where it's sort of like, in these days and times, you really have to like, whoa, wait a second, because there's this propaganda machine that is just bombarding us with either the truth or deception. It's not easy to know it nowadays. Also after AI has entered in on stage and these things, you don't know for sure. What are you actually looking at? Is it even true? So I take my time, and people start calling, where is he? Why isn't he doing anything? I am in the background. Back off, leave me alone, be patient. If you want to find out what happened, if you want to jump to conclusion, go for it. Get on the train and you do the same. But that's not me.
So what you're saying is, actually, I've got you at the right time rather than the wrong time. Because it feels to me now like Charlie Kirk is yesterday's news. It's completely forgotten. And that in itself is kind of weird, because it strikes me that if the story was true, if Charlie Kirk had really been assassinated, I think that story would be resonating a lot longer than it has. It's almost like we're living in the people who believe the story are believing two things simultaneously. One, that this conservative hero was brutally assassinated. Two, that it's kind of, but it happened a while ago, it doesn't matter anymore. That seems to me very intellectually inconsistent, that people can think this way. If it was real, we would still be feeling it.
I tell you, we're being set up, and it's like I used to work at a local newspaper, and the headlines, if there was a murder case, very rarely, was this big. And the headlines, if the neighbor's cat had ended up in a tree and the fire brigade had to get out there, if there was no other news that day, the headlines would be the same size. And we are at this point where most people, they don't really understand what is the difference. We're like, oh God, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. What is important, what is not? And this is part of this whole duk, 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 duk. So you can't really focus. And then you're being hit with new stuff, so that Charlie Kirk, whatever that was, boom. But if I'm correct, we're looking at a massive operation that is there to prepare you for at least a new vice president. That's part of this whole operation, if I'm correct. So this is, you are not even aware of that is where it's taking you. But I would strongly suggest that after this, I don't know if you want to go into details, but I can show you exactly where it's like, oh my God. And then you're being taken for this ride built on untrue statements that have, without you understanding it, you've been sent in this direction. And then they just keep building on this foundation that is a foundation of not true things. So, but you don't know it if you are not aware of that. Whoa, step one was you were pushed in the wrong direction. Then all of the steps that follows is based on that. Instead of you saying, wait a second, what just happened? Let me check it out. And then you see, oh my God, here they go again. What the hell? And so stop, breathe, take it easy, look at it, and you see, actually, somebody pushed us in that direction, meaning they were standing there. So here's where we should be looking, not there. Do you see what? So we're looking at psychological operations that are so easy to buy into. And once again, with this Charlie Kirk one, it was just like COVID. It was just like the alleged Trump assassination, where suddenly many of these veterans in this truth, or people that are really seriously looking into it, are completely buying into a psychological operation, not buying into saying that it's not a psychological operation, but they're being misled. I'm just saying from my point of view, being misled and buying into the red herrings that are part of the operation. They're built in distractions, getting us off track. That is part of the setup. The same, very same here. They're doing exactly the same setup here with the Charlie Kirk shooting as the alleged Donald Trump shooting. It's like a copycat case almost.
Yeah, I have to say that there are quite a lot of people, I mean, including some of my supporters, my patrons and stuff, who sincerely believe that Charlie Kirk was a martyred hero, that he was murdered. Some of them believe that he was killed by an LGBT whatever activist. I think probably more of them think that he was shot by Mossad because he was going against the narrative. He was finally waking up. And they think that even suggesting that Charlie Kirk may not have been assassinated, that he may have faked his death, they think it's insulting, that it's frivolous, that it's, that we should be focusing on more important things. So why has it been so effective? Because, I mean, we're talking about a community of awake people who are a lot, they've seen podcasts with you. They know about false flags. They know about, why are people buying this one?
I don't know what you mean by awake. I know for sure that I'm super asleep in certain areas. So this whole image of there's a snap and then you're awake, I would say gradually more awake than before. But just like my mother said before she died, I asked her, so how are you doing? She said, still confused, but on a higher level. That's the one I'm going for. Still confused, but on a higher level. So just because you get one thing does not mean that you get the whole picture. And we are up against professionals. This is the thing. We're up against very advanced marketing agencies. This is just like, why do you want to buy a Pepsi? I don't know. It's hot. I want a Pepsi. Why do you want a Pepsi? Because they got to you along the way. It's through marketing, through different things. It's the exact same here. So they bombarding you with all kinds of subliminal stuff, with product placement, with all kinds of stuff to persuade you to look in a certain direction, and most people do. But what I go back to all the time is Farmer Brown logic. Is it logical? I mean, could it happen? So one thing I tell you, James, is that many years ago, there was an incredible person that worked at Pentagon. He worked in the business of false flag, this whole thing. He was very, very high up and very successful. His name was Fletcher Prouty. He is in the JFK movie, portrayed as Mr. X, the one that Donald Sutherland is playing. This man, I learned so much from, because he became a whistleblower after the JFK assassination. This is the guy they sent to the South Pole to get him out of the way, because he was an honest man, a righteous man that stood up for truth, dangerous to them. Okay, so when he said, when you look at these cases, look at what happened, but also almost more important is look at what did not happen, what would normally happen, what did not happen. Because what normally would happen, like James, if you would take a brick and you would throw it in through Sainsbury's shopping window or wherever, within a minute or two, there would be a police car, correct? Here we're looking at like top level assassination, boom, boom, boom. And there's suddenly no police cars, no ambulances, no nothing like that. Or if it's a another one, like if you have an alleged mass shooting or so, the SWAT teams are there within 30 seconds. What the hell? Do you know SWAT teams, you speak to a SWAT team member, they normally have at least like 45 minutes to go to there's an alert, boom, they go to the station, they sign for the weapons, they sign for all of these. They don't sleep in these bulletproof uniforms, so when SWAT teams or people in SWAT team uniforms are on location within like 2 minutes, it's like, okay, so you're part of it, because how the hell did you get there that fast? See what I'm saying? And it's
interesting. I didn't think of that one.
No, and it's always like that. They're like, boom, and there they are. And then in the press conference, they say, oh, we're so proud of our police. They were there within like 80 seconds. How is that even possible? How is it possible? So
because it was just a kind of minor, a university gig, wasn't it? A university campus speaking gig.
Yeah, but here, first of all, I don't know even where to start. It's hard to say, because I did first I did like one webinar. I did full on for I don't know how many days nonstop. Then I did one webinar, almost 2 hours, where just where in these webinars, I'm not trying to push anything on anyone. I'm just saying, please look there, please look there. Please look here, please look there. So people see for themselves. I'm not here to persuade anyone, but afterwards, I would say 99.99999% saying, oh my God, what the hell just happened? Okay, so I thought that's it with Charlie Kirk, but it just continued. So now I've done 2. Please go to lightonconspiracies.com. It almost sounds like a radio voice. And check out these webinars. Please, I ask you, also the one of the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, because they're completely connected, if I am correct. Please notice, I doubt my own conclusions more than anyone else. I keep a very watchful eye on myself, so I don't just jump to conclusions. Okay, so I'm not saying I'm right, but if I am, then we're looking at a massive operation that is on a whole different level than I've seen anyone else point at. So, just as an example, in 1998, there was a movie called Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is a known Freemason. We have these Freemasonic things that keeps popping up in the background of the Freemasonic symbolism, numerology, dates, all of these type of things. They're always in the background when they're the ones doing it. For some reason, it's important for them to involve these things. Okay, so in this movie, in 1998, it's called Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage. He is a Freemason. He's already ordered his own tombstone. It's a pyramid, Freemasonic pyramid with the whole old symbolism, all prepared for him. And anyway, so in this movie, which was recorded at the Taj Mahal Hotel in Atlantic City, owned by Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a very interesting individual in these operations because he keeps appearing right in the center. So you have to ask yourself, what does dear Donald with his hairdo do in the center of these operations again, and again? So anyway, in this movie, we have a politician called Charles Kirkland. Okay. On the 10th of September, which is exactly the same date as Charlie Kirk got shot, he gets shot in the movie right in the throat on the exact same place as Charlie Kirk does. It's during a boxing match where one of the boxers, what he's doing, he's faking that he's being knocked out. So he's staging the whole faking of him being knocked out. And when the audience go amok, like, what the hell? Everybody stands up screaming, boom, that is the cover for the shot being fired that kills Charles Kirkland. Okay. So anyway, so the boxer that goes down, his name is Tyler, just like the alleged shooter in this case. And his nickname is Tyler the Executioner. Above it, of the boxing stadium, which is designed more or less identical to the memorial of Charlie Kirk, that occurred now. The whole same layout with the benches, the flags, the podium, all of it is very, very similar. I put the photos next to you. Also, one of the people that are being portrayed in this movie is based on Donald Trump. His name is Leo Powell in the movie. Okay. And in the database of these film databases, it says this character based on Donald Trump. In the whole movie, there's a one eye, which is this Freemasonic symbol that is circling around this boxing ring where it says Powell pays. Okay. So I made a mathematical calculation. I asked a very skilled mathematic, what are the odds that somebody by the name of Charles Kirkland, so close to Charlie Kirk, would be shot at that date, exactly the same location, by somebody that is connected to it called Tyler, the executioner. The calculation came up to 1.34 trillion. I mean, the chances for you being hit by lightning is 1 in like 1.4 million. This is in trillions. So that on its own is very strange, to say the least. Then we go into, when you start really looking at Charlie Kirk, studying him, because if you notice, this Charlie Kirk, as far as I know, he just appeared like publicly just a few years ago. I had never heard of him before. And then suddenly he was this rising superstar that came out of nowhere. When you really start looking at him, you will see that there's two different individuals that are portrayed as Charlie Kirk. When you put their faces next to each other, you can see they look similar, but they're definitely not the same person. One has got quite big teeth. The other one's got very small teeth.
Very small teeth. Yeah.
Very small teeth, yeah. The other one has not. Then you have Erica Kirk, which is his wife. When you see the woman that he was officially married to since 2021, she's got like very defined eyebrows. She's got like quite wide face. She's got the woman that stood up after his assassination and spoke to the nation. You put the photos of these two next to each other. It's like, they don't even look alike. It's not even close. And when just before she went up and did that speech, Erica Kirk's Wikipedia page went down. And when it came back online, the photos had been replaced. The whole thing had been replaced to fit the new version of Erica Kirk. But when you put them next to each other, they don't even look alike. So the first thing she says when she approaches the nations, she's saying, "Good evening. My name is Erica Kirk. Charlie Kirk is my husband. Is my husband." The thing is, in these operations, I've been told by insiders, due to their absolute fear of the law of karma, they're apparently very fearful of the law of karma. What you do comes back to you. So for them, it's very important for them to show us, to tell us in subtle ways what is actually the truth. And if we don't react, then the bad karma's on our shoulder. We should have known. We should have seen it. They told us. So this is the blessing in disguise. They're telling us, but we had to be like, whoa, I hear it. I see it. You go to charliekirk.com. You will see that, yes, there's this message. Yeah, we're very sorry Charlie Kirk died. Boom. And then the whole website is still in presence. Like Charlie Kirk is the founder, is this, is that all. Okay. So you look at his family. There's no public records there's no marriage certificate at all in any records. There's no birth certificates of their two alleged children. There's no photos of their children. All the photos when they show their children, you can only see the back of their heads. There's no mentioning of their name, of the children's name. And I get it. When you're a public figure, I can completely respect if you don't want your kids to be in media or like that. But where are the records? Where are the public records of the birth? And so it should be there. They're not. Yeah. Then you look at, where did Erica Kirk come from? She came from more or less nowhere. She comes from a background where her mother has been working very deeply in cybersecurity. She's been working for Homeland Security and connected to the Department of Defense and many others. When you look at these operations, very often the individuals that appear in these operations are somehow connected, often through their parents, into the military-industrial complex, into the agency, different alphabet agencies community. That's where they sort of headhunt these people. Okay, so Erica Kirk came in on stage as this Miss Arizona. So, a model. So was she a model before? No, she was contacted by Donald Trump's company that arranged for Miss USA and Miss Universe. They contacted her and said, why don't you try as a model? Boom. And she won Miss Arizona, where suddenly she became this boom. And I've got photo of her in the Department of Defense in Pentagon with her whole beauty thing like this. Okay, that's a bit unusual. Then as a teenager, she suddenly started this organization helping children in Romania, where she was in areas that are infamous for child trafficking. Exactly in these areas, she put up this foundation. I'm not saying anything, but she's thanking the U.S. military for their help. What? That's on her own website where she's thanking them. What is a beauty queen from Arizona doing with the U.S. military in Romania? I just ask questions. Okay, so then she met Charlie Kirk on a podcast where Charlie Kirk was also recruited into this whole thing by no one less than Donald Trump. So Donald Trump was the one that put these two together. So do you want me to just continue for about 4 more hours of like absolutely bizarre things like, what on earth? I just want to point out one thing for you, James Delingpod, is that the actress that was in the Snake Eyes movie, do you remember I told you about this whole boxing thing where all of these different ones? Her name is Carla Luigi. Okay, so right now she is in the headlines as an actress in, I think it's on Amazon TV. It's this series called Heads of State. And in that, the very same actress that was next to Charlie Kirkland, the politician, when he got shot in the throat like that actress, the exact same actress, is now playing the Vice President Elizabeth Kirk, not Erica Kirk, Elizabeth Kirk. I'm like, what? Say again? So we look at where do you want to go? They stole the body. I mean, exactly like they did with the JFK body. They stole the body. It was a federal crime in Dallas, but the Secret Service and the whole shebang, including Lyndon B. Johnson, stole the body of JFK, put it on Air Force One, and flew it to Washington. They swapped the body online. It's a big thing where a lot of things happened to the poor body of JFK on the way. It's multiple autopsies when they tried to alter the different, massive big one. But anyway, so here we have an exact copycat of Charlie Kirk officially died. There's no death certificate. There's no autopsy. There's no medical reports. No forensics, anything. There's no images of the shell cases where he had been writing all kinds of messages that wouldn't even fit on an empty gun shell. You can't fit in the number of words that it said that he had put on these ones. Anyway, so they, against the law of Utah, where it says this is a federal crime, he should be kept, that the body should be kept in Utah, autopsy, everything done there. Instead, they took it and just put it in a casket and took it and flew it out on Air Force Two. What on earth, whenever has a private person been flown out on Air Force Two? But Erica Kirk, the new one, was flown in on Air Force Two as well, together with Vance and these other dudes. So they flew in, stole the body, flew it out, against breaking all rules. Okay, where's the autopsy? Where's that? Okay, so we have the hit itself. We're being told that the shooter, please do like this, James, if you want to interrupt. But anyway, the shooter was using a Mauser 30-06. That is exactly the caliber that Martin Luther King was being used. There's a lot of these connections, like on a subliminal level, that are connecting these to national traumas. I will just gently suggest Anyway, 3006. I used to, when I was a teenager, I was dreaming of becoming a gunsmith. Not that I'm violent, I'm completely non-violent, but I'm a hell of a guy with guns. Anyway, so a Mauser 300606 is the year of the model. That's a 1906 model. They say that it can be that the shooter broke it down within 2 seconds. I tell you, I call bullshit on steroids. It would take me several minutes to undo a Mauser, and you can't even get it into the small parts that we're being told that this shooter that he put it down his pants, jumped down the hole. And when you look everything, the footage of the shooter when he's running over the roof of the building, jumping down and so on. This was filmed by a CCTV camera from a boring parking lot. It's there stationary to look down at a boring parking lot. Who is moving the camera following the shooter? Who is moving it? Who is zooming in on the shooter? That shows you this is not just a normal CCTV camera. This is somebody filming it on purpose. The same when he's walking down the road and limping and all of these. The camera is moving, even if it's a stationary CCTV camera. I call bullshit again. This is how they do it. So anyway, so a 3006, that is a hunting rifle. It's from... It was involved in both world wars. It's a hell of a rifle. Okay, so we're told that Charlie Kirk is sitting there. Boom, he's hit right in there. They said there's not even an exit hole. Okay, so I've seen people do shooting tests with a gun. It literally blows the head of someone. I mean, if you're hit in the head, goodbye head. It's massive, the impact. Here, nothing. Instead, we see this like strange almost dark brown, lumpy fluid that comes out of his throat. Completely weird. If you look at here, this is where the oxygen goes up and down from the heart. So most of the time it's bright red or pink, depending on how much oxygen is in the air on the way in or out. And here we have like dark black almost coming out. And when you see him falling over, if you zoom in, you will see that this blood never, so it's like down on his t-shirt, but his t-shirt never gets stained. The blood just keeps like this, but it never lands. It's just like this in midair. That is absolutely not the real thing. So we have this footage of him being shot straight from the front. It's like it should be like the new modern times Zapruder movie, the most famous movie ever of the JFK assassination, the Zapruder movie. Here we have a close-up of a similar thing. So it's been viewed at least 8 million times and also taken down and then put back up. Nobody's claiming ownership of it. Nobody. Okay, so we have in the audience, there's 3,000 people that are there. Okay, so where is the footage? Don't you think that 3,000 people that normally takes photos of their bleeding hamburger or their cappuccino latte, whatever, that they would not take photos when they were at an event with somebody that they really admired? Come on, I call bullshit again. Where is the footage? Why are we not seeing hundreds of cameras like this in the air, which is normal when you see other Charlie Kirk events? Look at the audience. So many people are filming, taking photos. This crowd, sorry, none. To start with, a handful, very hand-picked angles of the whole thing, filmed and then released to us to view. And then along the way, as they always do, they just, here's another one. Here's another one, so you don't ask too many questions. Here's another one. Here's another one. You look at the crowd. Sorry, James. I'm just going to ramble on for a little more. So if you are in a war zone, I've been in war zones. I tell you, when shots are fired, you drop down. Your body says, get me the hell out of here. You don't even, it's not your choice. Your body goes flat like this, especially if it's fired over your head. The sound of a bullet coming over your head is intense. Here, boom. Charlie Kirk starts falling, the crowd is still standing, and then they start going like this. Nobody turns around looking towards where did it come from. Absolute bullshit again. That is not the way things happen. So how is that possible when, I mean, that was a whole crowd. Yes, there are companies called Crowds on Demand. It is one company that you just go to it, crowdsondemand.com. You can rent a crowd of 40 or 4,000. They will help you with the script. They will help you whatever, wherever you need it. Internationally, they will fly a crowd in. What do you want? Pro-Trump, anti-Trump, pro-abortion, anti-abortion. Are you a failed musician? Do you want to be popular? Do people hate you? Don't worry. We can come to your birthday, make you look really popular. At a funeral, not a problem. We can come and cry. ondemand.com. Okay, owned by a Jewish owner. And here we have, if you look at the crowd, you will see that there are specific controllers of the crowd. I've been working as an extra on movies many years ago. That was one of the ways that I learned to see how a movie scene is set up. This was before I got into this whole false flags thing. I had no idea. And then I started seeing, holy crap, they got markers. They got like these different markers, and the lighting is there. Why are the shadows like more than one shadow? These things, it's really helped me to look through these things, because I come from inside film production, and many of these things are like film productions.
Yes. Just, I'll give you a chance to recover your breath. I was in Russia recently, and I was being entertained to blinis and smoked salmon by this artistic couple, and the wife had worked in theatre and worked in film, and her son-in-law turned to me and said, I'm very sorry to hear about the death of Charlie Kirk, because even the Russians have been told that you must grieve for Charlie Kirk, and it's a terrible thing. And I said, actually, and I wasn't sure whether to tell him what I thought about this. And then his mother-in-law spoke up, and she said, I don't believe any of it. And we all sort of turned. This was completely unexpected. And she said, yeah, I've worked in the film industry, and everything I saw struck me as just fake. This was acting. It was all set up, and this was this woman's. No one knew what she thought, and she just told it like it was. Apparently, this is a Russian thing, that they're quite independent minded, and she saw the things that you saw, that they saw.
James, I'm just observing. I have no interest in proving anything. I'm observing, saying, like Alex Jones, I don't want to point finger, but if you don't know what controlled opposition is, sorry, there's one dude for you. He's very central in this whole thing also.
Global warming is a massive con. There is no evidence whatsoever that man-made climate change is a problem that is going to kill us, that we need to amend our lifestyle in order to deal with it. It's a non-existent problem. But how do you explain this stuff to your normie friends? Well, I've just brought out the revised edition of my 2012 classic book, Watermelons, which captures the story of how some really nasty people decided to invent the global warming scare in order to fleece you, to take away your freedoms, to take away your land. It's a shocking story. I wrote it, as I say, in 2011 actually. The first edition came out, and it's a snapshot of a particular era, the era when the people behind the climate change scam got caught red-handed, tinkering with the data, torturing till it screamed, in a scandal that I helped christen ClimateGate. So I give you the background to the skullduggery that went on in these seats of learning, where these supposed experts were informing us, we've got to act now. I rumbled their scam. I then asked the question, okay, if it is a scam, who's doing this and why? It's a good story. I've kept the original book pretty much as is, but I've written 2 new chapters, one at the beginning and one at the end, explaining how it's even worse than we thought. I think it still stands up. I think it's a good read. Obviously I'm biased, but I'd recommend it. You can buy it from jamesdelingpole.co.uk/shop. You'll probably find that just go to my website and look for it, jamesdelingpole.co.uk. And I hope it helps keep you informed and gives you the material you need to bring round all those people who are still persuaded that, oh, it's a disaster, we must amend our ways and appease the gods, appease Mother Gaia. No, we don't. It's a scam. Did he? Was he involved? I don't watch him because I know he's an ex comedian who was brought back to life as a kind of another fake character. But what was he promoting this scam?
What he was doing? There was this comment about see you in Valhalla. I'll come back to that. Yeah. Okay.
No, can I just pause you there?
Yeah.
After hearing that, I discovered that the deep underground military bases have different names. There's one under Kansas, which is called Emerald City, and there's another one called Valhalla. And I was thinking, hang on a second, he's been reassigned for a new life in one of the Dums. Maybe.
Okay, so we have Kash Patel, who's the head of the FBI, by the way, who just fired a lot of top FBI guys in that specific area where this happened just a week before. Maybe to get rid of people that are good at what they're doing and could not be controlled. I'm just suggesting something. So here we have Kash, who's suddenly a friend of Charlie Kirk. And so at the press conference, one of the things he says, it's incredible. We had this manhunt. It's the fastest one in modern times, less than 48 hours, or actually 32. No, I mean 33. 33 is the number that is always there in the hundreds. When 33 comes up, you have to say again. I mean, you take the court case number of this Patsy Tyler, you put the numbers together. I tell you, I don't even have to look at them. I know it's 33, and it was 33. So here we have 33 first, him saying it multiple times, 33, 33, 33. And then he says, okay, Charlie Kirk, my friend, I will see you again in Valhalla. What on earth was that? That is from Nordic, but that is, Valhalla is the waiting room from the dead heroes on the way into the dead empire, or the empire of the dead, or whatever you want to call it. It's sort of the middle station as far as I know. That's Valhalla. But it's also the U.S. Marshals, part of the witness protection program, where they take people before they get a new identity, they take them to what they say Valhalla. And that's sort of on a standby. Often in Valhalla, they have shared identities so that there's more than one person that are sharing one identity while they're having their new legends created. They call them legends. This to create a new identity is like a piece of cake that the agencies, especially the CIA, they do it for breakfast every day. Bum, 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 is part of the witness protection program. So here, what does he mean? Then you have, if we continue on that little one, you got Tyler, the alleged shooter, who, by the way, went to this Dairy Queen after the shooting. Complete ice cold killer went to this Dairy Queen. Okay, so a reporter went to the Dairy Queen to speak to the people. It just turned out that had been closed for quite a while. It's not even active. And in the background, by the way, you got this poster of Superman. They have this Warner Brother thing in many of these alleged mass shootings where they have superhero themes. I think it's to involve the younger generation, the gaming generations, to somehow get involved. I don't know. But anyway, so that's in the background. But then we have these weird images of Tyler. When you look at Tyler, there's more than one person being presented as him as well. You put the photos of him next to each other. Not the same dude at all. They don't even look alike. And on the cap, well, we got a little pyramid, a Freemasonic pyramid. But anyways, Tyler Kirk has been they've taken photos of him in his boy room or teenage room or whatever, where he's standing next to his bed. The bed is really, really high, almost like a sick bed. You know, the proportions are weird. I would call bullshit on these photos. But anyway, he's standing next to a computer screen that is on. So on this computer screen is a Google Map image. Okay, so I looked into that image as well as many other people did, because they know how they present this bullshit to us, that there are these hidden clues giving it away for us to find if we take the time. So we found this image. It's from Google Maps, and it's actually an island called Goat Island. And goat is very connected to the satanic Baphomet symbolism. This whole goat that they're pumping in media nowadays, it's connected to Satanism, the Illuminati crap that is always in the background of this whole thing. So Goat Island in New Zealand, okay, and on Goat Island, if you just sail across from Goat Island to the next island, there's like an 8-kilometer or 8-minute drive to a Danish resort called Valhalla. So I'm asking you, is that where they dumped him, or what the hell is that? But it's like connected to Valhalla. Then you have Alex Jones, who in live streaming, he's walking in right in the studio, and he says, well, is he still alive? I bet he's in Valhalla. You know, okay, what? And then the guy in the studio says, yes, a warrior's death. If that is not part of a psychological operation, I've never heard it. It's like, do you know, like these type of propaganda pressed together commercial doom, like that. So a soldier's death, a warrior's death. Okay, so Alex, where did Valhalla come from? Right after Kash Patel has said that, for me, it sounds like could be connected. Then later, we had Alex Jones come on, and he said that I just spoke to this doctor who was at the autopsy of Charlie Kirk. Okay, thank you. Where is the autopsy report? Where are all of these medical reports? Nothing is that. But anyway, he says, I quote, the doctor said that the bullet entered not from like this, but from above, which doesn't make any sense because the shooter was more or less a bit upwards, but not a lot. When you see the levitation or whatever, the angle, it's very flat like this. Anyway, so he said that it actually makes sense to me now that the bullet came in and then it hit the spine, turned downwards, went into the heart. It made the heart explode, then turn around and exited out that. I mean, Alex, really? Are you in fairyland? That is bullshit on an unheard level. You have to be completely brain dead to even say a thing like that and believe it, which he doesn't. I mean, but he makes it convincing to people who are not aware. It actually makes sense now that the bullet stopped, went down, exploded, made his heart explode, and then turned around and came up again. What in the heart would stop a bullet like that, turn it around, and up? It's like absolute bullshit. And then you'd see firing tests with this the whole head just explode. There's nothing left. It would have torn out the whole neck of him, his whole neck, and the bleeding. You see, you see his own security guards that I would completely say is 100% the team that is carrying this thing out. His own team are the ones doing it. Okay, so when you see that they jump over the table, and that footage also, who filmed that? Somebody with a very good camera, steady camera up on the top. He was right on the edge of the upper part where the audience was standing. He was there very early and set up that very special camera. So this is footage that is meant for us to see, I would suggest. Anyway, so we see that his own team, first shots it fired. There's this big fat dude, one of his security guards. He doesn't even flink. The shot is fired. He's standing there chewing gum. The shot is added afterwards. It's audio added afterwards. Boom. It's like action, background action, and action. That's what happened. And then they added the sound afterwards. So this dude who was a security guard, I mean, when the shot was fired, he would just like completely go into action. And these type of bodyguards, that one of them seems to be the head of the Secret Service, Sam Curran, who was in the alleged assassination attempt on Donald Trump as well. He's the guy with short sleeves and sunglasses. Anyway, none of them reacts. Normally, if you want to see how the Secret Service should react, or bodyguards like that, look at the assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan. That's how they are trained to react. One of them just gets the target out of the way, including covering with their own body for more shots. The rest of them are keeping their focus out with guns drawn out, because there could be multiple shooters. There could be more than one shot fired. Here we see everybody turns around, runs towards the car. And when they carry the Charlie Kirk, one of the things we see when they lift him up, you can, if you zoom in, I have it on my PowerPoint presentation, you see there's no blood on him at all. Okay. Then they carry him to the car. His throat would have been, just pulled out. There would be nothing here. And the blood would just pump out on an incredible scale. There's not a drop, not a drop, not a drop, not the whole way they run with him, not a single drop. And then into the car and they take off. Then you have the guy, if I'm correct, I managed to identify the guy. I cannot swear, but I think that in front of Charlie Kirk, right when the shot is fired, we got this guy in a brown checkered shirt that looks a lot like the type of mercenary or soldier of fortune, Secret Service, these type of guys. He looks very professional, black shades and this brown. He's standing. They're doing different hand signals in this little team. Okay, are you on standby? Yes, ready. And then he somehow detonates the blood squib that is on Charlie Kirk. Whatever it is, he is the one that triggers it. Boom, like this. He's standing right by the railing. So there's different ways of, with compressed air and different ways of doing these type of things. They do it in movies all the time. But anyway, he is the one pulling this one, and then he runs around. Charlie Kirk's teams throw things to each other, and then they rush towards the car to get him out of there as soon as possible. So this guy first pulled this, and then he's around, and then he's the one in front when they carry the body, and he jumps into the driver's seat. So for being the driver as well, this is a key individual in this whole operation. If I'm correct, his name is Edward Gallahan. And this dude, the reason I recognized him was because in 2019, he was taken to court. He was a Navy SEAL, and he was taken to court because he had taken a 17-year-old ISIS prisoner. If you believe in ISIS, I mean innocent civilian, I would call them. A 17-year-old. He was wounded, and he stabbed him to death completely, Yeah. And then afterwards, him and his platoon was posing together with this dead body, taking photos and taking drone footage and going, yeah, like this. Okay. So his platoon took him to court saying this is unheard of. He should be, sentenced for murder and all of these things. So they took him to court. He was sentenced, and then he was pardoned. Guess by whom? Donald, I kid you not, Trump. In 2019, he pardoned this dude. So this cold-blooded murderer was pardoned by Donald Trump. Why on earth would Donald Trump? And everybody was, why did he do that? Well, maybe it's payback time now to dear Donald Trump that he is part of this operation. It's like, and then there was 12 minutes after the shooting, the alleged shooting, a privately owned Israeli-owned private jet took off from, what's the name of the airport? It's only like 12, 15 minutes from, it's something with P, Provo Airport. It took off, and they turned off the transponder. That's the one that shows a signal to the radar to identify the airplane. That was turned off. They took off. I mean, to me, that sounds like an escape plane, if I've ever heard of one, that's the way they transported him out. And then we are left with this crime scene that was right away contaminated. They were letting people in the crowd going in, over, everywhere. And within hours, I think they started, even on the very same day, they started cementing the whole place, putting new tiles of the crime scene of the century. What the hell? And like behind Charlie Kirk, there was a camera one of his own security guards, I'm in the process of identifying this dude as well because he was close to Charlie Kirk in Turning Point. Okay, he's the guy straight away. He doesn't care about Charlie Kirk. He rushes straight towards the car, takes left, gets up on a wall and films the whole thing. Okay, he was in the security and then he's filming the whole thing. Then he goes straight from them. When the car is taken off, he goes straight back and starts taking down the camera. He puts up the chair. He completely clears the crime scene. What the hell, James? What the hell? And that camera, when you look at that camera, it was not just any type of camera. It seems like it was one of these new where you can make holograms with. These are very expensive. They're like $35,000 cameras, but they can generate a hologram. This is like you see Michael Jackson on stage, you see ABBA on stage. They're using these cameras. So I would strongly suggest that camera was put there as part of a red herring to get us confused and think, oh, so some people will say it was a hologram, there was a trapdoor, there was this. All of that is built into it so that we will start, arguing with each other and getting confused. But how dare they take a murder scene and do like that with it? And then, if you want, I can just go into the location itself. It's just like, oh my God. Oh my God. Can I carry on?
Tell me about the location.
Yep. Okay, so the location. So we had the alleged shooting of Donald Trump, where this dude managed to get up on a roof. It was amazing. How could he get up there? It was only the closest roof, completely flat, like I can't remember, was it 400 feet from Donald Trump, like that. There was security, but the roof they had not looked at was the closest one. Okay, so people noticed that there was a shooter up there. And that building was where the local sheriffs were. And one of them saw the shooter climb up there. And then the Secret Service says, yeah, we're very sorry, but it was too dangerous for our agents to check it out because, it was like this flat and too dangerous. I called again. So here we have the exact, because that's bullshit, that whole thing. There were absolutely nothing there that happened as we've been being told. Please watch my webinar, lightonconspiracies.com, and I'll just break it down. I did 2 webinars about that Donald Trump shooting as well. Not a true word at all. Donald Trump right in the center, all of it preparing him to become this incredible shot at hero that stood up and fight back, this whole thing. And then he was elected president. It's a psychological operation. Anybody that was against him before then, because of that, boom. And in the background, Jewish interest and the New World Order up till here. Illuminati. It's just unheard of. I'm not saying Jewish people as a faith. I'm not talking about the people of Israel. I'm talking about that power structure that is located there and is part of destroying the world from the inside. I'll tell you that. Anyway, so the building. So Tyler Robinson, the alleged shooter, got up on this roof and fired a shot, once again, the closest building to where Charlie Kirk was sitting speaking. Okay. So when you look at the layout of that whole thing, it's very Freemasonic. It's filled with pyramids. Go down on Google Map and you will see that university part. It's just like, what? Like Freemasonic with capstones and all of these things. And so the building itself, they say it's the Lucis Center. Okay, I thought Lucis, it sounds a bit like a psychological Lucis Center because the Tyler, the shooter, and Lucer connect like this. I looked down on the map. There's nothing saying Lucis anywhere. It says UVU. And one of the parts that it says was military veterans, education for military veterans. So I thought, that's a bit interesting, isn't it? So it turns out the CIA have special education in that building. The FBI has special education. One of them connected to how to see what is real and what is not real in different operations and how to interfere with media outlets and so on. That's interesting for you as well. Then CAI, another one also connected to the intelligence community in the very same building. And then Israel last year donated $2.4 million to that exact building, the units in that building for research. Okay, so we look at the location where Charlie Kirk was sat. Was that just a hand-picked place? It turns out that the exact location where he was sat is called the Hall of Flags. Like, it's apparently, I don't understand why they would call it something like that. There were no flags there, what I could say, but it's a connection for international interest or whatever. Okay, so you look from above and you see it's a very odd design of the whole thing. It almost looked like a Jewish menorah, this seven-armed chandelier. Okay, so Charlie Kirk was set, it's identical. You can take the chandelier or whatever, the menorah, put it in the design. I mean, it's that accurate. And then at the center of these stems, or whatever you want to call it, in this menorah, exactly where Charlie Kirk was, that symbolizes the sacrificial death of Jeshua. So I find that interesting as well.
Of
Jeshua.
Joshua.
Josh.
No. Maybe it is Joshua.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's spelled Jeshua.
I ought to know. I read my Bible a lot, but I don't know.
So anyway, if you look from above there as well, if you look at, if you take Charlie Kirk was sitting straight at the top of this whole thing. If you turn it around and you look at where the people were walking down, because they're like sitting down in different levels, this whole menorah design is in different levels. So you see where they walk down. It looks like it's a beginning of an arrow. And then above, to the right of the menorah, it looks like a very defined arrow that is pointing straight northeast like this. So I thought, am I just seeing stuff, or is that actually an arrow that is built into the design? So I asked ChatGPT, I said, please calculate from this map. I give you the coordinates and like, look at that. In that arrow, what is that aiming at? Is there anything of importance internationally on that? And it says it's aimed at, I quote Chat, I can't guarantee anything, but ChatGPT said it's aimed at Jerusalem, the, what is it called? The wall of veil, the wall
Wailing Wall.
Wailing Wall, yeah. And I'm like, that's interesting again. Okay, so you look at where we see that Tyler Robinson, the shooter, is said to have shot from this corner. So where did he shoot from? When you look at the design of the layout of the location, and you see the pyramid shape, you will see that his shot came straight down the capstone to hit Charlie Kirk. I mean, not a little bit, it's straight through. Once again, geometrically, like, whoa. And then he ran over the roof and jumped down. And I always look for Freemasonic symbolism because they're so often in the background. It's like they're bragging about it. It's like they're saying, we did it. It's like a business card almost like. So the whole area is filled with pyramids on the roofs and the different structures and so on. And also next to the parking lot, the parking lot where he jumps down and runs to the, if you look to the left of that parking lot, there's an obelisk. So I thought, that's a bit of an odd place to put an obelisk.
Sure, a pole, yeah.
It's weird. It's like, so I zoomed in, and this is the Statue of Reassurance. It's like, okay, so I thought, and it looks very like majestic, but it's super small and in a weird location where you just park the car. It's off center. It's just strange. So I looked into that one, and that was donated by an artist that was planning to make a sister or a brother statue of the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Statue of Reassurance, I think it is supposed to be as high as the Statue of Liberty, but on the West Coast, and based on a book by a Jewish author that was writing from about the alleged Holocaust. And it is in that book that this idea about this statue is coming up. So we have connections to this area of the world again. So anyway, so the Statue of Reassurance, when you look at the Statue of Liberty, I mean, most people see a woman with a fire and being a symbol of freedom. But actually, when you look at who gave it, it was a group of French Freemasons that gave it to a group of American Freemasons. And actually, the statue is of Lucifer.
Yeah.
If you look, there's a painting from 1597 of Lucifer. You compare that painting with that statue, it's him. It's not a woman. And so here we are again, in your face, once again, these type of things. It's just, and it keeps connecting to the very same structure, the very same power structure, the very same forces again and again and again. So I want to ask, or say that one thing you have to ask all the time is, who benefits? Who can get access and control the crime scene, the murder investigation, the press, the autopsy reports, the medical reports, the trial, all of who can do that? Because once you start looking into it, it's like, this is just staged. This is just not real. Who can do that? Can you do that? No. Can I do it? No. So it's on a whole different level. And this is where you start getting into this whole thing. So if I can continue, ramble on a little bit, we have the memorial. Okay. That was an incredible, it was like a rock concert with pyrotechnics, explosions and fireworks and you name it. Incredibly professional. I mean, when you look at the design, the printing of all of it, amazing. So I checked out normally how long would it take to set up a thing like that? On that scale, we're talking about 80,000 people. And I got the report at least 3 to 6 weeks. Security, at least 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, we're talking about a lot of so-called important people, like Donald with the hairdo, Vance, a lot of other people, so-called important guests.
Elon Musk was there, wasn't he?
For security, just to check out the area, we're talking several weeks. For the design, of posters or banners, for the coordination, color coordination, for the lighting, for the stage building, all of these things, a minimum of 3 to 6 weeks. Minimum. Here, 11 days. Okay, so I've seen this before because when the Parkland high school shooting happened in Florida, we had the alleged shooting, which I completely debunked as an absolute stage, absolute, not a true word, nowhere. But really boosting this whole get rid of the gun, confiscate the guns from normal people. So anyway, so they had, I can't remember how, after that shooting, they had this gathering in Washington, in the center of Washington. I mean, we are talking high security now to get clearance there. I think it was was it 20 days or something like that? Unheard of. Massive stages. They had bands, they had this, they had bus transport from all over the country. They had organized the hotels, they had speakers, they had lighting, they had all of that with a record time. So a friend of mine called or sent an email to Homeland Security just asking, it was this officer, Earhart was his name, at the Homeland Security. They asked, please, could you please let me know when the permit was given to this event? This guy had no idea what he was asking, what he was answering. He said, yeah, it was about 4 months because there was a lot of preparations and so on. So this poor officer that I said, if anything happens to him, because I got this viral, his email, the whole thing saying, look at this. This went viral. And this poor Earhart, I think that it messed with him. But I said, if anything happens to this dude, please notice it's because of them. If anything happens, it will just prove that we are right. So leave him alone. I really hope that, or he was just somebody that wanted the truth out there and thought, this is not right. So anyway, he said several months, I think up to 4. Here we have this Arizona State Farm Stadium. Okay. And we checked out. It was booked in May. Okay. So I asked you, that makes sense because that would be the time to prepare a thing like this. So was it booked? Yes. We contacted this, and before they really knew what they were answering, they said, no, it was a private booking. We can't give out any details. Now they say, no, there was this RV exhibition, but when they heard about the Charlie Kirk, they said, we're going to give up our time and you can have it for free. And then 100 people, volunteered from all over the US. 100 people came together and they made this in 11 days. I call bullshit on steroids again. It is impossible. Then you have, I don't know how many different Ericas there are now. She's also... They have, I think some of it is AI generated, where you have Donald Trump's wife and Erica, suddenly these incredible singers, and they're getting up and they're doing these duets and with Charlie Kirk in the background, where he suddenly is like he's up next to Jesus when it comes to being a saint. He's next to Gandhi and JFK and Martin Luther King. How did that happen? Anyway, so they're singing there about how incredible he was, and the stage is absolutely, the lighting is amazing. It's absolutely pyramid shapes everywhere. And then above the stage, it says Vivo in big letters. Vivo, that's the only thing it says, which in Latin, what does that mean, James? I live. That's what it says. They're telling us, folks, this is bullshit. But we have to show you. We don't want to, because we're doing so much bad and we're freaking out when it comes to the law of karma. So we are telling you, and they're telling us.
Yes. Can I just, but before you go on, this is all very interesting. My own brief experiences with Charlie Kirk. So I had him on the podcast.
Which one?
On this one, been like 4 years ago.
Yeah, but which Kirk? Charlie? Sorry.
Oh, well, I see. Sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Well, so my first encounter with him was via somebody called John Mappin. And John Mappin was sort of masterminded the promo for the UK launch of Turning Point. And Kirk was presented to me as this, he's just an amazing, he's just so charismatic, and he's so clever, and he's so amazing, and just you want to come and meet this guy, and I'm going to host this evening for him at this club, and yeah, maybe you'll get time to meet him and speak to him. And I was, the back of my mind, I wasn't really, I thought, well, okay, I'll come along. Looking back, I was being hustled. And I was being, more than being hustled, I was being sold a line. I was being presented with this guy whose bona fides had already been presented to me as, this guy is great, he's charismatic, he's a thing, you should know about him. And I normally like to make my own mind up about people and pick up the vibe. And I heard him speak, and he gave a kind of boilerplate speech. And then I did the podcast with him again on the. This was in my early days when I wasn't quite so savvy, perhaps, at all the trickery as I am now. And I thought, well, you ought to do a podcast with Charlie Kirk, James, because he might not be so exciting in the UK, but he's a thing in America, and he's clearly a. And I remember being struck by how disappointing he was. And I thought at the time, well, this is because you don't understand America, James. He's an American. He's a bit stiff and awkward, and that's why you're not really getting any kind of reaction. He doesn't feel like a human. He feels like an automaton. But that is because, James, you don't understand Americans. Looking back, I realized the reason he wasn't like an automaton is because he was an automaton. He had no personality. He was just. He went through that interview, came up with the boilerplate answers and standard conservative answers about conservative issues. I had no rapport with him or anything, and now I'm also the other thing. There was definitely, and this could be the benefit of wisdom of hindsight, but I remember feeling a kind of, there was a sort of wariness about him, a kind of like, I thought God, you think you're like you're going to be assassinated or something? I mean, that was the sort of the vibe. He was like sort of watchful and I thought, what? Are you really that important? Anyway, those are my recollections of Charlie Kirk, which may have been coloured by what happened since and maybe reading too much into it. But I do remember thinking there was something about him that did not make sense. Right, carry on, Ole.
But James, I find that really interesting. Did you meet him in person?
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
tall was he?
he was taller than me.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
Well, I'd say he was about... Well, I remember him as being tall. He's probably about 6 foot or something.
He's 6'3".
Right. Is he?
Was he?
Well, he seemed reasonably tall. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because it's like I've got Donald Trump is also registered 6'3". You put them next to each other. Donald Trump is like this. This is this bizarre world you get into where it's like there's more than one of each other. It's very, very weird. I mean, you got like I've got one photo of Donald Trump and Charlie Kirk, and then Robert Kennedy Jr. Robert Kennedy Jr. 6'1", Charlie Kirk 6'3". That makes sense. And then you got Donald Trump, who's the same height as Robert Kennedy, which is like doesn't match up at all. But then you got we are in a world that is the deception is just weird.
Have you got any thoughts on the pumpkin face? The huge like it's like not human. It's like a huge head with those small teeth in it.
Donald Trump?
No. Well, Kirk, I was thinking of in this case.
Okay, no, but what I would like to suggest is that you were in the receiving end of an operation. You know, when you look at, okay, let me put it like this. The more I've learned about how these forces are working with these type of operations and how different families involved in the deep state, they plan 100 years ahead. I mean, I have problems planning 2 weeks ahead. They plan like this. So these things, you know, when we see in the 70s, all of the signs about 9/11 already starting to appear that would happen on that date, it's not just possible fantasies. This is possibly how they do it. So the whole thing with Snake Eyes in 98, predicting or as a base for this happen. I mean, when you look at the odds, like in the trillions, you have to there's something weird going on here. You have to tell yourself that. And so is it possible? Because when you look at how they operate, it's like a chessboard. You know, it's like the world is like a chess game, power structure. It's not about nations. It's not about these things. It's about how to get total domination. Okay. So I think that there are, and I know from other operations that many times they have multiple options at hand. You know, so depending on what happens, what goes through, then they activate the next step. But it can be just like in a chess game, whatever. So a suggestion, I'm speculating now, but I think there will be multiple individuals, not similar to Charlie Kirk, but prepared for different kinds of developments in the world. All of them assets, all of them constructed identities to be activated in the case of whatever. Okay, so I tell you, if the alleged assassination attempt on Donald Trump had not brought him into the position of president, Charlie Kirk would not have been activated the way he was now. This thing where he was just brought in on stage like a rock star, just like Barack Obama or Barry Soetoro, who was a CIA operative as well, where they put together the identity of Barack Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, put it together like almost like they do with a boy band, and then they launched him as this identity, this incredible individual, but he is completely not real. This is the thing that is hard to wrap your head around. So I would suggest that is it possible that along the way they started preparing for different options. One of them in this whole thing was Charlie Kirk. Another one was Erica. And then they were placed together as assets. My parents, I believe, was placed together as assets in the early days. We talked about that before. That they were placed together when it fitted their agenda. These two were fitted together to then continue. On the way, they had prepared for this whole thing. You had like Erica before she got married in 2012, she was in a music video after she had become Miss Arizona, and the guy she plays against, his name is Tyler, and he looks a little bit like the shooter. And also she's ziplining through Las Vegas, and she passes these two numbers, 9-10, which is the date of the shooting. She ziplines right in front of it, and the singer has a big mask of Baphomet on him. Do you know, it's sort of like, what? So I would suggest that along the way, this individual, Charlie Kirk, I don't even see him as a real person, possibly.
No.
But a person just like you felt that this is weird. There's no substance. That him and maybe two of him was activated, because we have one small teeth, one with average teeth. There actually seems to be three that have been working as Charlie Kirk. When I put the photos next to them, when you look at them, it's like they look similar, but not at all. They got a similar eye set, and we just buy into it. I think that's why many times, like these individuals that come to a certain point, like Boris Johnson, Donald Trump, Hillary, they have very specific hairstyles. And so we see the hair and we think, oh, it's Boris Johnson. I've been interviewed by Boris Johnson's former girlfriend. She says the new one is not him. I don't know who he is, but it's not my boyfriend. And Donald Trump, same hairdo. Don't you think he's got like billions? Couldn't he afford like a proper haircut? No, but he has this very specific, so you don't really look, and then he like that, and the hairdo, and boom, it's Donald. Yeah, but how come that he's like 10 centimeters shorter than he's supposed to be? Well, it's still Donald, because do you see, it's just like when you look at a police officer, you see the uniform, not the individual. And this is how we're being deceived. So I think that Charlie Kirk, based on whatever theme that was with Snake Eyes, because it's very possible that the theme started way before. And so you have the name Charlie, which means man of freedom, I think. Something like that. And Kirk is the Scottish name for church. Then you got Erica, which means ruler. Kirk, ruler of the church. The whole thing as a psychological operation, I think. And then along the way, after the assassination attempt went fine, and that Donald Trump got into position, what they needed now, and this is where I would strongly suggest you have to watch out here, because what's going to happen, if I'm correct, I know exactly what's going to happen. What will happen is that through this whole thing, they came to a point where they thought a martyr is more worth than this individual called Charlie Kirk, this asset called Charlie Kirk. If we create a martyr has golden wings and gets into the status of angelic powers like this. You cannot criticize, you cannot do anything like that. And so that amps the whole operation so much more. At the same time, we look this way, looking at Charlie Kirk, not where we should be observing what the hell are they up to, while we are completely obsessed with mourning this fallen hero, a soldier's death or whatever. So at that time, they decided, okay, we have to relocate this asset under the name of Charlie Kirk. He and his real wife, maybe they got really fond of each other. So she said, no, I want to go with him. So these two got relocated. That's why they moved in the new Erica Kirk, who doesn't look anything like the old one. Two, maybe she's also better at the next role, which, if I'm correct, is to be presented as the next vice president, possibly next president. If you look at Edgar Cayce, who had different visions and who was very, many people highly respected this individual. He was talking about that he saw in different visions the president that was building walls, and then it came to a point where he fell and he was replaced by a woman that came from out of the power structure to take a whole new role. I tell you, this one, we're being presented this angelic, incredibly beautiful singing individual that does that devil's horn, no, the love sign, come on, who is like, and did you see when Donald Trump presented her on stage, when when she comes in, look, he's pointing up. When he points up, there's red light coming down. That's a satanic light.
That's
and then
Baphomet thing, isn't it?
yeah, he does like that. And
Yeah,
then the red light comes down, and then it's swapped with angelic lights on them. So first he shows his real self, and then, oh, look at him. And then she walks in there and melts into his chest. And then he goes, what the hell? That's white man overbite. The only time I've seen Donald Trump do this, that was when he was with Jeffrey Epstein and they were out hunting young girls. You've seen the footage of the two, and he like,
Trump
is that a way of
so
is that a
evil,
way of grieving? No, to greet a grieving widow that has just got her husband blown to pieces,
Who
and
may,
he's like,
I suppose, do you do elite gender inversion? There are theories that she might not even be a woman.
I know that. I know that they say that she's Vance and so on, but Vance is also he's a lot taller than her.
Oh, I
So
didn't know she was Vance. I hadn't heard that one. That's a new
no,
one
but
on me.
I mean, these things come up all the time. I tell you, I would not be surprised because they love it. It's the Baphomet thing again. This bizarre unisex satanic thing.
Tell me about the Masonic rings and all that sort of the exchange of. I saw somewhere where the finger position of the ring moved, so that after the ceremony of over, it signified his promotion in the Masonic hierarchy.
It's like, for one thing, when Donald Trump talks about Charlie Kirk at the memorial, he said, and Charlie, he is a master builder. Master builder? Are you freaking? It's like, what? That's a
What?
Freemasonic high level role in the Brotherhood. A master builder. Charlie Kirk, he is a master builder of people. He says that. I'm like, oh my God. And by the way, Tyler, you name the name of the alleged shooter. Tyler is another. He's like a guard outside the Freemasonic lodges. That's a Tyler who stands, but spelled with an I. So it's like, it's packed with these Freemasonic things, and like with Erica Kirk, she's being filmed when she comes to the coffin. Okay, so she comes to the coffin and somebody's taking photos right on top of her. I mean, the photographers have been standing on the casket almost, taking photos of her, and she's like crying there. Oh, I love you so much. Okay, but look at the hands of the body. They're absolute orange, and there's no wedding ring on the left hand. Okay, so that's one thing. Then you have Erica Kirk's fingers with a massive big Freemasonic ring, a big G like this. It's not small. And then there's another, these hands don't look real at all. It looks like dummy hands. Then there's another black and white photo taken apparently from the same occasion, but there his hands are a bit hairy. They are lifelike looking, in a different position. The handcuffs, the cup, what do you call it? The cuffs on the shirt is visible in a completely different. His hands are in a different position, and there's like his initials on the shirt. What is that? What is that?
They're taking the piss, aren't they?
Absolutely. This is the thing. They're rubbing our face in it. How stupid are you? It's like, in one way, I think they're indirectly trying to help us on a higher level. I mean, these assholes are actually doing us a favor because they're saying, come on, what if we show it like this? Can you see it now? Nope, apparently not. Okay, let's try it again. If we make it this obvious, can you see it now? Nope, still asleep. Okay, what about if we make it this clear to you? So indirectly, they're helping us to become aware of it by doing it incredibly obvious if you start seeing what's going on.
Have you thought about, because a thing where you put this to people who believe it was all real, they say, well, what would have been the motivation? Why would they do this? I mean, you've suggested one thing, that Erica Kirk might be being set up to be the next vice president or whatever. But what's
Listen,
the idea behind?
James, you cannot say or whatever, if we're looking at a possible future president. That is not just whatever. That is a massive operation to take it to that location. Yeah. Because if you look at there's this shift internationally where many, many prime ministers are replaced by young women, many times from the young global leaders.
Okay.
Where they have been prepared by Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum since the 90s. They have been prepared to get into power positions. This is why so many of these prime ministers are being replaced by their puppets.
And why young women, particularly?
Because young women really works well. It's like all the feminists, like this, finally, we're going to stop the madness of the men. You created this problem. Now it's time for us women to take over. And if it was real, I completely applaud it. I think the female way of seeing things, a woman's way of seeing a unity and how to take care of each other and do everything in circles instead of power pyramids. I completely applaud that. But we're being taken. This is part of a psyop. When these people come from these indoctrination programs, they're complete puppets, and loyal to them, not to us. So here we have the US, which is the last bastion in many ways, where a female president, they Kamala Harris, we have had Clinton. And so here we suddenly have this angelic, completely innocent mother of two that will take up the flame, that she will take over the torch that her dead martyr husband was carrying in the name of truth and understanding and love. I forgive them, all of these, every time they forgive them, what they're saying, please stop your hatred, stop your anger towards us when you find out what we've been doing to you. That's why they do that whole thing. It's a complete...
You know what we haven't talked about?
I do not.
I'm about to tell you. So we know that there's the official narrative, the one that appeared in the papers in the aftermath. And then there was what my friend Miri Finch calls the official conspiracy. So they created this conspiracy for us whereby we know it was really Mossad who killed Charlie because he got the backing of Israel throughout his career, and then suddenly, in the last few weeks, he started looking at Gaza and realizing that. Tell me a bit about this narrative and what purpose it might be serving.
Couldn't you hear yourself? It's like it's very cleverly done because they are the ones behind it. They're a very strong part of it behind it. The whole thing is war by deception. This is what they do. This is the name of the game. This is how they play it, by deception. But the Mossad is just one part. The CIA is just one part of these. They're completely in bed. It's the same thing, different shapes, connected. On this level, completely connected. Down on the street level, not. So when you say the CIA did that and the Mossad did that, very often it's like this. They work very closely together. And people think Israel is below the US when it's actually the other way around. Benjamin Netanyahu got 25 standing ovations when he was in the US. Barack Obama got 15 at the most. Would the Swedish Prime Minister get 20? I don't think he wouldn't get anyone. Anyway, so they're showing us that indirectly. Please remind me, what did you ask? I forgot.
Well, I'm just wondering, what is...
Okay, yes.
Why are they sowing this conspiracy theory? Why do they want us to think... Why do they want conspiracy theorists to think that it was a Mossad hit?
Because the thing is, they know that is what people would think. So if they say it beforehand, then it can also be used against you. It's like they're doing it, how shall I say? In these operations, they build in all of these red herrings, okay, that will take you in all these different directions. If they avoided doing it towards themselves, it would be very obvious. So they do it towards themselves. That was part of the whole thing, prepared like this so that it would look suspicious. And then we would say, no, 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 but actually nothing happened. The thing is, he did not die. There was no shooting. Nothing really happened. So the Mossad didn't do anything like that. There was no shooter from the CIA. There was no shooter from Mossad. There was no, because nothing really happened. It was a psychological operation. So it's part of the whole mindfuckery.
But funnily enough, I found it very, very helpful because I've seen a lot of people, sort of online personalities, supposedly in the truth movement, who've been promoting the Mossad theory.
Yeah, of course.
George Webb, for example. And for me, it saves me the trouble of ever having to take this person seriously again, because I realise that they are part of the deception. I don't think he's been deceived. I think he's part of the it was Mossad done it deception. And so it saves one the bother of having to trust these people again.
No, don't say that, because many of us, we really believe in what we found, But if you have been fed stuff to lead you in a certain direction and you find proof of what you're being fed, you believe that's the truth. I believe that I found the truth. I'm sure that the truth is more complex than I've been able to find. So don't distrust an individual like that just because that is where he's pointing. If that is like when you look at Alex Jones, when he says something so ridiculous, like this bullet going up and down, and then, and also the Valhalla right after Kash Patel says that, these are so obvious that it's all. And this is a guy that I've been calling out since the 90s. I mean, I spoke to him in the 90s. Yeah. And because controlled opposition is one thing that is very dangerous, I think, because a controlled opposition source will deliver a lot of very, very important truth, but there will also be a certain amount that is complete lies, and also a certain amount of things that would be completely avoided in this whole truth megaphone pumping out.
Do you think he was that comedian?
No, I can say I know he was it, but
he was.
As far as I know, it seems like Alex Jones is his real character and Bill Hicks was played. It was not the other way around, as far as I've been able to find out.
Alex Jones. So he was like that guy, and then he became Bill Hicks, and then
I have one video where Alex Jones publicly admits that he was Bill Hicks. Are you still there?
Yeah.
I can send it to you, where he starts crying and he says, "Yeah, you got me. It is true, like this and this." And then but what he says is that Bill Hicks was a character that he played. The thing is, the two individuals is one. The two characters is one. Whoever that individual is, I can't say for sure, but these two characters come from the same persona, the same friends, the same publishing company, the same agents, the same the death and the arisal of and the rise of the new one. It's like the teeth. I mean, when you look at it, if we take it from a forensic point of view, it's a perfect match. The teeth, this is like facial recognition. You can just use that and boom, you nail them. That's it. Boom. It's the same person. I loved Bill Hicks as a stand-up. I mean, I really liked him. And I was super impressed by Alex Jones when he appeared. And then he started, after a while, showing the signs of, oh my God, you must be kidding me. This is really, really sad and heartbreaking.
Yeah. I've been on quite a journey since I first started doing podcasts with you. So I remember the first one thinking, this guy, he's so out there and whoa, false flags and can it be real? I mean, he sounds plausible, and now I'm like, there was a recent attack in London where supposedly some people at a synagogue were killed and one was shot by the police. And I'm just like, yeah, this didn't happen. Made up shit, just completely. I didn't even bother looking into it. But did you look at that one?
I don't look at these type of things anymore.
No, it's not worth it.
Because I know what to find. I know exactly. I mean, I've looked into, I think almost thousands of these cases. It's many hundreds at least. And I've always ended up with the very same thing. And I just wish that I could say that 30% of them were real and 70 wasn't. But it's like I've never I tell you, this is not easy for me to say. I have never encountered a natural mass shooting. I have never encountered a natural terror attack. I say that. I mean, this is, I really don't like saying it.
That's quite a statement, Ole.
I know. But you know what? I've recently been contacted by this heavyweight, amazing journalist. Her name is Celia Farber. And she used to work for the Squire magazine. I mean, she was, and she did like interviews with O.J. Simpson. She's been ghostwriting books and stuff like that. And she contacted me and said that after she found me somehow, she put on the Dammegård goggles that she said, and since then, the world doesn't look the same. And whenever there are these type of operations, she put them on and she starts listening with the heart, and she just like, this is not, there's something weird. And then when she puts my goggles on, it's sort of like, oh my God, here we go again. And so, and I just want to say, for me, it's such an incredible joy that somebody from mainstream media, former mainstream media, earlier on only invited me to interviews to set me up and destroy me, as they did with so many others. And here we have somebody that has actually said, listen, oh my God, what on earth? He is actually seems to be correct. You came also from mainstream media, which was a great joy for me, because you were also one of the first ones that said, listen, there's something bizarre going on. Maybe we should give this dude at least a chance and let's just hear him out.
I was going to say something you said earlier about how these guys they plan things hundreds of years in advance, and it's like a big game for them. I've realized that this is absolutely true. There is our world, we ordinary people who think that we get a choice in our lives, and we choose our career, and we find a nice woman, and we settle down with a family, and there's a system there to support us, and there are values that society observes, and that we can travel and we're free. I don't know whether you've ever read a Kazuo Ishiguro novel called Never Let Me Go. You might have seen the movie.
Ooh, I like the title.
Never Let Me Go. It's really disturbing. It's really disturbing. Okay. What it is these children are in a boarding school, and they think they've got their lives, and that some of them have girlfriends and things, and they're at this school, and they think they've got a future ahead of them. And what gradually emerges is that they are not. They are being bred and kept as clones for very rich people, available for their body parts to be used should the rich person they're a clone of ever fall ill, ever need them and stuff. And so their purpose is to be, they're like cattle. They're just, and in the same way, this gave me an insight into how the people who run the world, see us. They delight in deceiving us. They create characters like Bill Hicks. I mean, people were moved by Bill Hicks. People felt he was their guy. People were sad when he died of cancer. In the same way, lots of people, I mean, I'm a Christian, as you know, lots of Christians really invested in the Christian message of Charlie Kirk. He died for Christ. I think, by the way, when you're talking about Yeshua earlier on, I think I suddenly realized that's the another name for Jesus, isn't it? But that loads and loads of Christians particularly were susceptible to this thing, because here was a guy who made Jesus his life. And I have to say, it really disgusts me. I mean, I'm gobsmacked that people fall for this stuff, but it disgusts me that this is how they operate, and they create these fake characters like Charlie Kirk. And I hope nobody listening to this podcast is still thinking, wait, he was our guy. He was a Christian. He talked about Jesus all the time. Well, of course he did, because he was an actor, and that was the role he'd been assigned. But these people who run the world, they are game players, are they not? On an epic scale, unimaginable.
Yeah. But the thing is, when you listen to Charlie Kirk, at least what I heard, I mean, he was a super intelligent, very good at debates. Doesn't sound a lot like the guy you met. It doesn't sound like him at all.
Right.
No, but I'm talking about the guy that is sitting there debating.
He took
whatever.
on kids though, Ollie.
I know, I
He
know.
kids who couldn't really answer back, and he found ways of owning them. He wasn't really taking on the best. And when
No, and also,
he did a
also
debate
we
in
were,
Cambridge or Oxford, and he got crushed.
there you go. I mean, we've been only presented cases where he crushes the other one. I mean, who knows who's been editing away the rest of it. But whatever it is, what is being said, if it's a psychological operation, they will tell you what you want to hear to get you on board. So there would be a lot of truth and beautiful things saying and all of these. And I mean, individuals like Erica Kirk and all of these. And when they say, please forgive him, I stand for forgiveness. Like but when it's used like that, it's part of a deception. So it's like they hijack these words, they hijack these beautiful, geometric shapes like the pyramid and all of these, they hijack them. They hijack expressions, they hijack the numbers, the numerology of these beautiful numbers and use it. Occult means that they're hidden from us. It doesn't mean that they're dark or horrible. Occult just means hidden. So a lot of this knowledge that they're using is knowledge that could be of great benefit for humanity to know, but they keep it in the dark, away from it. So whatever Charlie Kirk said, it's just words coming out. They might be completely true and beautiful and worth quoting or whatever. Don't confuse them with this individual who I at least don't even think was a real individual, or at least how come that there's like 2 or 3 of them? I mean, that on its own, if suddenly I met with 3 James Delingpods, I would start suspecting that, holy moly, there's something weird going on here, because that's not normal at all.
It would be cool though, Ollie. I would like 3 James Delingpods going around. I mean,
you could be James Delingpod III.
Yeah. No, I think that would be good. I tell you what, it would make podcasts a lot easier, because at the moment I've got tomorrow I've got 2 podcasts to do. I'm thinking, I'm going to be I find them really, like you probably, I find them really draining. Concentrating on what somebody's saying for an hour, and this is quite a long one for me. I'm desperate for my breakfast and a cup of tea, and it's probably bedtime for you, isn't it?
As soon as, but you invited me, so you can just end it anytime you want.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that what we do is
yeah, I agree.
You can't just like phone it in.
The thing is, James, I've been interviewed more than 1,350 times. That most of them 2 hours. I've never been paid. That's a lot of hours spending on. If I was just speculating, I wouldn't do it. But I really feel that it can be of value what I bring on the table. So this is why I do it.
Do you think it was? I've wondered about this. Is it revenge? I mean, your parents were kind of created for Operation Gladio stay-behinds, weren't they, or something? I mean,
yeah, but from the good start. I mean, they believed in what they were doing. I believe. No, I don't have revenge in my system at all. I've got very little anger. I've got a lot of sadness when it comes to when I see the suffering and the injustices and so on. But revenge, I don't have in me at all. And I don't see it as that either, because I see it indirectly as that this is helping us to get to a point of oneness. I mean, they are. It's like if you see a Batman movie without the Joker, what would that be? And if you saw our lives without these things that evolve us by, really challenging our beliefs and thinking, indirectly, it's helping us. We would never have met had it not been for these assholes or these, So it's like, and all the people listening to you wouldn't have listened to you if it wouldn't have been for what they're doing with it to us. So it's indirectly, enjoy the process, transmute the pain, transmute the poison, and turn it into something good. I mean, we are being battered and bashed and smacked around and whatever. So it's a matter, what can you do with it? I would say transform it, transcend it. If you go violent, you fail the task. If you go into revenge mode, you fail the task, I think, because then you are just part of creating the same thing that you're trying to fight. You can't fight for peace. You cannot fight for peace. You cannot lynch yourself to freedom, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether I'm really feeling much gratitude for these people for providing me with material for my podcasting career. I mean, I love talking about this stuff, but like, I mean, let's not forget these guys are next level evil, and they're serving the forces of darkness, and they view us as kind of expendable. So I'm not kind of loving them.
Who said you should love them?
Although I do know what's going to happen to them. That's the problem. I do know that, and I do pray for them. I do feel sorry for them, because ultimately, where they end up is going to be beyond horrible. I don't think we can really imagine how horrible that their fate is going to be in the afterlife.
I don't know, but
well, you're different. You have a different religious whatever philosophy than I do. So what do you think is going to happen? You don't think there's a kind of hell? You don't think there's going to be? You think they're just what, like characters in a video game, or what?
I think that we are living in hell in many ways.
Yeah, sure. But we agree on that. The devil is the god of this world.
It's a tricky one, because I really feel that we are in a spiritual battle, and that it was like I was doing a presentation in Belgium or Holland somewhere in a church, and I was doing it together with a former Illuminati banker called Ronald Bernard. I don't know if you heard of it. Is he still alive,
by the way?
Yeah. There was another Ronald Bernard that was found dead. It's not him, so he's still around.
Okay.
And as far as I know, doing great. But anyway, so he had a horrible childhood and just thought, fuck the world, I'm going to give back, I'm going to destroy everything, I'm going to rule. And so he got himself into the world of super psychos in the Illuminati, and he got very high up there, and he thrived, he loved it. It was naked women, drugs, whatever you wanted, no consequences, whatever. But then it came to a point where child sacrifice came in, and it was just too much for him. So he just completely freaked out, and he managed to get out. I think it took him more than 20 years to actually get out, and then he became a whistleblower and started talking about it. But anyway, so I was, we were doing a presentation, and then it was like Q&As afterwards, and somebody in the audience said, why don't you ask each other questions? And I thought, great. So I was standing looking at this former satanic Illuminati banker, looking into his eyes. He has very gentle, very kind, almost a little bit naive, childish eyes, not monster eyes at all. And I mean, I've been standing face to face with some real monsters, like, holy, give me some, that type of feeling. That's not what I got from him. But anyway, so I said, so in your former life, how did you see somebody like this individual? He said, evil. I thought that was really interesting, because here I am sitting on my white horse thinking that I stand for good, and you over there, you bastard, stands for evil. He said evil. So I thought that's interesting. So I said, so in the world that you came from, could you be friends with each other? Did friendship really? Oh yeah. So like with family, did you love your family members? And so, yes. And so this is confusing to me. So I said to him, so how did they show love? He said, through pain. They showed love through pain. I was like, what did you just say? And he said, and he started describing, like, putting the kids in like metal things like that and adding electricity. That was showing love. So at that point, I just felt I'm never ever gonna understand this mindset. I'm because I've been trying my whole life to figure out what is going on, because I don't get it. I don't get what's up with this domination, destroying, killer, thriving, whatever. I don't get it. Just back off and leave us alone. Let's live in peace and harmony. But these bastards don't. So I thought, really. So I spoke to another guy. He was way up in the U.S. Military in the intelligence units. His name was Steve Bennett, and way up there. So I asked him, before he became a whistleblower. How did you see someone like me? He said a high-ranking officer of the enemy army, somebody to destroy. He said nothing personal, but someone that needed to be terminated. Okay, so I can respect that, if that is your mindset. Very few people, I think, are waking up saying, I'm really going to try and do as many bad things that I can. No, most people believe in what they're doing. And in the Illuminati dark world, they truly believe in what they're doing. They are saving the world by getting rid of people like this. Because their agenda is black, my agenda is white. Do you see? So it's like, how can I be angry at somebody who truly believes in what we're just of different opinions. And then it's up, what are we going to do with it? They want to kill me. I don't want to kill them. But how can it's at the same time in this reality, whatever that is, it's like plus and minus. It's in this duality where amazing things can happen. I mean, I can become the next serial killer if I want. It's an incredible. I can attempt to try and become the next saint. I have the option. I've got a kitchen knife. There's people out on the street. Within the next 15 minutes, I could be the next most well-known mass killer in the world. But I have the
not
choice.
With a kitchen knife, Ole.
I'm pretty good with knives. I'm pretty good with knives. What I'm saying is that there is this. We have the option, we have the free choice of doing good or doing bad, depending on who we are. So here we have a very distinct difference in they worship this dude, we worship this one. We like the one up on the clouds with a beard. They like the guy that eats with a fork and got a red complexion and a pair of horns. So when you're talking about it, I met people that come from these we say the upper part of the pyramid. I would say the lower part, because actually the pyramid is upside down. So people, I think, are not so high quality when it comes to humanity. But anyway, the exact same thing you said, they see us or treat us as cattle. How do we treat cattle? Many people, we just see them, there's a hamburger over there walking on he really looks good. I'm going to just chop him up in small little pieces and serve him on the grill. Nothing personal. That's a walking hamburger. The people from these level of society, they differentiate us. They see us as a lower class. They see us as useless eaters. They've been brought up like that. It's nothing personal. They're not one of us. They're useless eaters. And so the compassion is not there. And so for them to get rid of us, there's too many of us. It's nothing personal. It's just like logistics. There's just too many of them. Let's just get rid of them. Just like if you have in a rat-infested house, you don't see the individual mouse. You just see, let's just kill all of them and clean up the house. So it's like, what is right and what is wrong? What is a terrorist? What is a patriot? It completely depends on what side you are. Am I messing with your mind?
No, not really. Just confirming what I know already. No, I mean, look, I understand that you and I have different sort of. We're very aligned on most things, but I mean, my spiritual outlook is based on the Bible, and it's clear to me that there's good and evil, and that
that's
God
what I'm saying.
God is the good guy, and I don't think it's all kind of relative,
But James, what if we should quote, like there was this bearded guy that they nailed on a cross because he was like this rebellious guy who was standing up for what is true and right. What did he say? He said, "Please forgive them because they do not know what they do."
I'm with you. I'm totally with you there.
We're in that situation.
We have no disagreement there.
And so it's up to me. Can I live up to that or not? I mean, it's certainly not easy, but as long as I can, I will try and stick with these values because I think these are the values to follow. Like Gandhi, what he did, completely nonviolent, and still he managed to get the great British Empire out of India, not a shot fired.
If he was a goodie, I have to say, I'm suspicious of all of them now.
Yeah, and
anyone presented to us as a kind of, apart from Jesus, I'm not convinced of anyone.
I tell you, when it comes to Gandhi, I stand up for my dude. This one, they've really tried to destroy in many different ways. When you really see where he comes from and his values from a very young age. That
We'll
one
have to
is.
do a Gandhi special. I don't know.
I
I'm gonna look into. Actually, I'm gonna look into that one now. I mean, you could be right. I'm a bit like you. I'm open to persuasion on any issue. I'm not saying I'm right.
I can only say, based on his actions, what he did in public life. Oh my God! Whatever it. I mean, we're all human. We all have weaknesses and so on. But as far as I've seen, I'm just walking in the footsteps of giants like Jesus and Buddha, and I think to a certain extent Mahatma Gandhi, that showed that there is a way out of this madness in a non-violent way, and that for me is important.
Oli, I've loved talking to you as always, and I'm now looking. I'm now gonna watch your in-depth things. I didn't want to watch them before we started because I thought it would just colour my. I like to find out live what's going on. Tell us again your website where we can see all this stuff.
Okay, so it's lightonconspiracies, plural.com, lightonconspiracies.com, or dammegård.com. It goes to the same website. And just go to most viewed or the latest videos, and you will find it there. It's on donation. And it's like I have no interest in improving anything. I'm just saying what I found and trying to put it together in a way that is the most easiest way to understand, which is when you see it for yourself. And I can only say that I think it's important to be aware of what's going to happen around this individual called Erica Kirk, how she's going to be used, because I think they're heading for her as the next one. If so, please know that that is a complete psychological operation, and we should not be looking in that direction. All the time look where they don't want you to look, what they're actually trying to accomplish. Because if you haven't noticed, the world is being squeezed and pushed and all of these things. It's a one world agenda there to destroy everything and out of the ruins build a new world order. This interesting thing to understand, I think, is that many, many years ago, hundreds of years ago, there was a group of people that came together and they thought, how can we get global dominance? How can we control the world? This has been a dream for many, many years. And so they came to an understanding that there's no way that we can control the world as dictators, because we are too few, there are too many. We're in the hundreds, thousands, whatever, they're billions. We can't do it. So the only way we can do it is not by attack or anything like that. We have to be welcomed as the savior. We have to be welcomed like that. So what they did, they started going in and destroy everything. And if you look at society and the world today, gender, nations, nationalities, traditions, languages, you name it, it's being destroyed. We're in a complete confusion. That's the part. So it's in this end game when everything is being destroyed. That's when you have to watch out. Who is going to be the savior that comes out of the ruins?
The Antichrist.
That is the danger, because he will be presented as the new messiahs. And you will come to a point where all of this mayhem you see in the world will come to a total stop, because what they do is they just say, okay, all operations on standby, stop. Their operation. And suddenly the world would just like, oh my God, I can breathe. There's no 5G messing with my mind. I feel amazing. Look at that. There's no chemtrails, no fighting going on. Oh my God, the savior. No, he is the commander, or the role, that individual that is put there to put your belief in. That was the one that saved it. No, not at all. This is the massive deception we have to watch out for, because that is the ultimate trap.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. Definitely.
So
that does accord with Revelation, what you're saying there, Ole.
It's the book of Revelation. They're following a manual almost. So just be aware of it when this individual turns up in the form of maybe Jesus in Christian countries, or Buddha in others, or Donald Trump or whatever. Be aware that this could just question it. Don't just buy right into it. Just question and say, take a step back before I'm going to buy in. Take this as truth. Please let me just check it out. And because otherwise, once you get into that trap, it's a tricky one to get out.
Don't worry, Ole. None of our listeners are going to fall for this. They're going to be wise as serpents, is what they are.
I mean, please question me, question me everything I say, and then see where this leads you also.
Yeah. Ole, it's been a pleasure as always. And thank you, my dear viewers and listeners. Do check out Ole's website. He's got fantastic archive of all sorts of stuff. I think check out his episode on Olaf Palme. That's one of the most involved, bizarre stories I've ever heard. But yeah, anyway, if you've enjoyed my podcast, of course you have, I really appreciate your support. I mean, I love you all. I love you all very much, even those who, just like watch me for free. But if you can make the extra effort, give me some support, become a paying subscriber, that was appreciated. You can do it. You can buy me a coffee if you want to. You can support me on Substack, and you can actually go to my website as well. I think we're going to be soon introducing a thing where you can actually pay me direct. Delingpod.com, I think it is.
It's good to know that for sure.
Or is it co.uk? It's one or the other. Anyway, you'll find it. Thank you again, Ole, and
thank you.
I'll see you in a few months.
Enjoy your breakfast.
Thank you.